Hey guys, it's Olivia and I'm back with another video. So I know that last week I said that this week I was going to upload my video talking about how much money I made in my second year as an Uber Eats driver, but that video is going to get pushed again to next week because there's something else I want to talk about this week. So a few weeks ago I made a video kind of talking about how school was stressing me and track was stressing me, and if this is the first video you've ever watched of mine, a little bit of background information. I'm a track and field athlete and my events are long jump and triple jump, and I've been doing track and field since I was 6 years old, and I'm currently 23. So that's 17 years of running in a straight line and jumping into a pit of sand. And so I'm in my 5th year of my undergrad. This is my last year. I should be graduating next month. Fingers crossed. And by graduating, I mean finishing all my classes, but then the actual convocation will be in June. But anyways, I digress. I should be finished school forever next month. And while I've been in university, I have been on the varsity track team. And in my first year of university, I actually didn't make the team, but then I made the team my second year. And from that point forward, I've really excelled as an athlete and I've gotten some good coaching, and I'm just like night and day from where I was at the beginning to where I'm at now. Unfortunately, at the beginning of this season, I got injured and I had to kind of try and work around that the whole season. And long story short, my season didn't go the way I had hoped. So this past weekend was OUAs, which is provincials or state for any Americans who are watching. And I competed not very well in either of my events. So I didn't qualify for nationals, which is in 2 weeks, which is very disappointing because I've never qualified for nationals before and I really thought that it was going to happen this year, and it didn't. And in previous years when I didn't qualify, I'm like, I'm sad, but at least there's next year, at least there's next year, at least there's next year. Well, there is no next year for me because I'm graduating. So when I didn't make it, I was like heartbroken. And so I don't know, I just want to talk about it. I just want to like kind of get it off my chest a little bit. So this was a 2-day meet, Friday, Saturday. So I had long jump the Friday and triple jump the Saturday. So starting with day 1, long jump. The way the collegiate system works in Canada is based on a ranking system. So they take all your performances throughout the season and your best performance gets put in the ranks. And by the end of the season, you have to be in the top 12 in order to go to nationals. So of my 2 events, long jump is my worst event. I'm not bad at it, but I'm just like more consistent in triple usually. But anyways, in order for me to have qualified for nationals for long jump, I would have had to jump 571. My personal best is 553. And earlier this season, I had jumped 540. So to jump a 570 isn't like completely out of the question. It's definitely possible. It's within reach with my current capabilities. But I kind of knew going into the meet that I wasn't going to jump as far as I needed to go to nationals. And I was okay with it because long jump isn't my main event. So my goal going into OUAs was to jump a season's best. So this season I had jumped 540 and I wanted to jump 541 or higher. Even if I didn't get to 570, it would have been fine. I just wanted to like do my best of that season in my last meet doing long jump as a collegiate athlete. That didn't happen. That did not happen. I jumped 518, 5.18. And it's not even so much that I'm upset that I jumped 518. It's the fact that I technically jumped farther than that, but it got registered as 518. So basically, that's a very convoluted way of saying I jumped from behind the board. So if you don't know how long jump works, you have to try and get as close to the board without going over. So you can step on the white, but the moment you step on the red, it's a fault and it doesn't count. But let's say you take off from way behind the white, they still measure at the point where the white and red lines meet. So if you're jumping from way behind, this whole distance doesn't count. So let's say you jumped 518, but you were 20 centimeters behind the board, then technically you jumped 538, but on paper you jumped 518. So basically I just had no board accuracy that day, never hit the board, And so what frustrated me about that day was that I was jumping well, but it wasn't reflected in the result because I just couldn't hit the board. And so I was just really frustrated, and it wasn't the best day for me. Like, I was yelling, I was crying, I was I was just, it's not a good look. It was not a good look. But yeah, I was just so frustrated because I didn't even make finals. So another thing about track and field is there's a point system. So if you come first in an event, you get 10 points for your team or your school, right? If you come second, you get 8 points, third, sixth, etc., etc., etc. So only the top 8 places get points for their team. So I came 10th place, which means 2 things. 1, I didn't get any points for my team, and 2, I only got 3 jumps. So everyone who competes that day is guaranteed 3 jumps, and then if you make the top 8, you get 3 more. So ideally, you get all 6 jumps. I only got 3, and then I was knocked out, competition done. Then moving on to day 2, Saturday, which is the day that I had triple jump, and I was feeling somewhat confident going in because it is my better event. However, remember that injury I was talking about earlier? Well, that injury doesn't really bother me in long jump because, long story short, I sprained my left ankle, and in long jump, I jump off my right foot. So it doesn't really affect me that much. But when it comes to triple jump, regardless of how you triple jump, you jump off both legs. So you either go left, left, right, or right, right, left. But either way, you're doing a jump off both of your feet. And so since my left ankle is injured, doing triple jump hurts. It hurts right now. And so basically what my coach and I kind of figured out, maybe a little bit too late into the season, was triple jumping hurts when I jump in my spikes, but it doesn't hurt when I jump in my flats or my running shoes, because running shoes have a little bit more cushion. They're just generally softer. And so when you make the contacts with the ground, it doesn't like shock your foot as much. And so basically I wish I had figured this out earlier, because there were some meets that I didn't compete in, like I did long jump but not triple jump, because every time I would go to practice I would try to triple jump in my spikes and it would hurt. So then I'd be like, oh, I can't triple jump this weekend, and it's like, yes, I could have if I just decided to triple jump in my running shoes. Like, there's no rule that says you have to wear spikes, right? So essentially last weekend I had done a shorter approach. So my approach is typically 16 steps. But for my first 3 jumps, I did 12 steps, because when I'm taking 12 steps, I'm not getting to like full speed, because 12 steps is kind of a short approach. So then since I'm not going as fast, I'm also not hitting the ground as hard. So that was just kind of like a feeler. So I did that for my first 3 jumps, and then I made finals, and then I gave myself 2 more steps. And then for my last 3 jumps, I did 14 steps. So then this weekend, we're like, okay, let's go back to my full approach of 16 steps, but you're still going to compete in your running shoes. So that's what I did. And I didn't feel any pain, thankfully, but once again, didn't jump that well. So essentially, in order for me to have been in the top 12, I would have had to jump 11:42. My personal best is 11:72. So 11:42 is very much within my wheelhouse. I've jumped over 11:40 over 15 times in the past couple of years, like not including COVID times. Like pre-COVID, I jumped 11:40 plus over 15 times. Okay. However, this was in a time when I wasn't injured and I was wearing different footwear, but I still thought I could do it because I don't know, I have confidence in myself. So I thought that I could do it. But for my first jump, I jumped 10:31. My second jump, I jumped 10:48. And then my third jump, I jumped 10:92, which is like getting closer to that 11-meter mark. And so basically I like finally started to warm up. But then that was the third and final jump, because after that they paused the competition to figure out who the top 8 are. Guess who wasn't in the top 8? Me. I came 11th place, and didn't score any points for my team. and only got 3 out of a potential 6 jumps. And so like I personally feel like if I had made that final and gotten my 3 extra jumps, I could have jumped that 11.4 because I was getting progressively better through each round. And I also feel like because my ankle was hurt, not only was I not doing triple jump in competitions as regularly, but I also wasn't doing triple jump at practice. So I missed like weeks of triple jump practices. So I was like kind of out of my rhythm and my phases were kind of choppy, etc., etc. But then on that last jump I did, I'm like, whoa, this feels good. And it was definitely getting there. And so I'm like, if I had 3 more jumps, I feel like I could have done it. But those are the rules of the sport. You get 3, and if you're not in the top 8, sorry, bye, go home. So yeah, I did not do as well this season as I had hoped. And it's kind of disappointing because there was no season last year because of COVID. And then the season before that, when I was in my 3rd year of university, that was the year when I was jumping on my PB. So that's when I jumped 553 in long jump. That's when I jumped 1172 in triple jump. And so as I said, this year, in order to be in the top 12 for triple, I would have had to jump 1142. 2 years ago, I jumped 1172 and I still wasn't in the top 12. So it's like the, I guess, overall standard was a lot less than it was 2 years ago, and I still couldn't meet it. And so I was just like really disappointed in myself. And once again, I was crying and I was yelling and I was threatening to quit track. And I was just like so frustrated, and I was just so annoyed because now when I check the ranks, I'm like 16th overall in triple. But at the time of this meet going on, I was 13th. So I was 1 place away from being in the top 12. And this is exactly what happened 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was 13th. Like when the whole season was done, I was 13th place. And I was like, I cannot repeat last season. Like that was so heartbreaking the season before. And now the same thing is happening again. I'm 1 spot out. So now I'm actually 4 spots out, but I digress. The point is that I was on the cusp of going to nationals, and once again, I fumbled the bag. And so, yeah, I was just like really frustrated. And another thing with triple, I didn't hit the board once either. So this whole weekend, my board accuracy was so off. I did not touch that board once the entire weekend. That was my weekend. And like now, obviously, like I've had a couple of days to think about it. And I've come to terms with it. Like, I have no choice but to come to terms with it. Like, what am I going to do? Just be upset about it forever? Like, being upset about it isn't going to change it. So I got all my anger and sadness and all of that out the day of. Now it's a couple days later, and it is what it is. And one quick thing I want to say to people who witnessed my pretty much meltdown over the weekend. I just want to say this. I am not a sore loser. Like, I was not upset because I lost. Like, I don't care that I lost. I was upset because I didn't jump the distances that I knew that I could. So basically, let me put it this way. Let's talk about triple jump for a second. I jumped 10.92 and I came 11th place. Let's say that I had jumped 12 meters, which has been my goal for a while now. But let's say I jumped 12 meters and I still came 11th place. I would be happy. I would be very happy with that. I don't care about the place I come anymore. In the past few years, I literally have not cared about what place I come. I care about the distance I put up. If I'm happy with how far I jumped, that's it. That's all that matters. It's gotten to the point where I'm not competing against these other girls. I'm competing against myself. So when I have a number in my head and then I don't hit that number and it's something that I know is attainable for me, it's frustrating. So, as I just said, if I had jumped 12 but still come 11th, I would have been happy. But let's say we flip it around. Let's say I still jumped 10.92 and somehow that was good enough to win. I would not be happy. Like, I don't care about winning at this point. If I win with a 10.92, I don't care. Like, for me personally, 10.92 is something I should have far surpassed. And so when I'm 23 years old and I'm still jumping 10.92, it's frustrating. So even if I had won and I got first place and I got a gold medal, I don't care about the gold medal if the distance I jumped to get that gold medal wasn't the number I wanted. So I don't care that I lost. I really do not care that I lost. I just was disappointed that I didn't jump as well as I wanted to. So nationals is in 2 weeks. A couple of years ago, I didn't qualify for nationals, but since I was like right there and like my team thought I was going to qualify, my plane ticket had already been purchased to go. So even though I didn't qualify, my coach was like, "Hey, do you still want to come?" Because there was already a paid plane ticket with my name on it. So I was like, "Yeah, sure." So this year, once again, I was right on the cusp. So I'm not entirely sure if my plane ticket had been pre-purchased yet. I don't know. But if it was, I might still get to go to nationals. I won't get to compete, but I'll get to go potentially and like cheer on my teammates who did qualify and basically just get to chill with my friends in New Brunswick for 5 days. So yeah. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going or not, but regardless of whether or not I get to go, I am okay with how things turned out. I'm not happy about it, but I'm okay. I'm still going to do track even after I graduate. I'm still going to compete with my club team over the summer. And coming next September, I won't be in school, but I'll just continue to train with my club. And I'll still get to train with the same coach and all this stuff. So everything is going to be the same. It's just I won't be able to compete in the collegiate system because I won't be a student anymore. So going into this summer season, nationals for outdoor is also in New Brunswick. So whether or not I get to go in 2 weeks' time for the indoor season, it doesn't really matter because I'll get to go over the summer, because summer season is more like chill, like there's no like ranking system per se. So in the summer, if you want to go to nationals, you just pay to go. Like like you're just like, "Oh, here's money." And then they're like, "Thanks." And then you hop on a plane and fly to wherever nationals is. So regardless of whether or not I get to go to New Brunswick just for the experience in a couple of weeks, or maybe I have to wait till August, either way, I'm going to get to go to New Brunswick because I've never been there. Like, I'm from Toronto, Ontario, for those of you who know, because you've been watching my channel for a while. And I've literally not been like on the Atlantic side of Canada. Is that where New Brunswick is? I don't even know where New Brunswick is. I'm sorry. I'm very bad at geography. The point is, it's to the east. That's the point. And so I'm going to one of the maritime provinces, and it's going to be a good time. So yeah, this summer things should hopefully go well. My ankle is still not fully healed, but typically right after indoor nationals, so 2 weeks from now, maybe like a week or so after that, outdoor season starts. So I have about a month until I have to compete again. I don't have practice at all this week because I'm just off because I'm not going to indoor nationals. But I believe I resume practice again next week. So I'm still going to be practicing for the next 3 weeks and then competing again in outdoor after that. And hopefully my ankle is healed by then. But yeah, this is not how I wanted to end things, but the story's not finished. Like, I still get to do track just under a different system. It's going to be under club instead of varsity, and as long as I still get to jump, I'll be okay. So that's all for this week's video. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update because I know that weeks ago I was talking about, oh my gosh, my season's ending and I hope I do well. Well, now you know that I didn't do well, but I'm okay. I was not okay at the time. I was not okay on the day. I was like literally sobbing, ugly crying. It was not cute, but I'm okay now. And yeah, so that's all for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you think your friends will enjoy it, be sure to share it with them. All my social media links will be down below in case you want to follow me on there. Be sure to subscribe to my channel because I make new videos every Monday. Thank you to my channel members, and be sure to check out one of these suggested videos, and I'll see you next Monday with a new video.